Hi, and welcome to another educational video. On this video, I'm going to be using this paper. Torreon is not paying for this video. I'm just letting you know the type of paper I'm gonna use today because normally I use a marker paper, but today I'm gonna use light paper. So the characteristics of this paper, as you can see, is an A4 and is 90 GSM and is what I would say light paper, in Spanish, papel perjurado. So that's the paper for today. Now, I'm gonna be writing a quote for the first time with you, and I'm gonna be using this blank calligraphy guideline. The style of calligraphy for today, it's gonna be a modern Carolingian. So it's basically the mother of our current Roman lowercase alphabet, and this is the scale I'm using. So I'm gonna be using a browser nib, but you are very much welcome to use a pilot parallel pen 3 mm. This browser nib is also 3 mm, and you see the reservoir at the top. And of course, I'm going to be using walnut ink and deep inside and right. If you have a different pen size, you can build your own blank calligraphy guidelines by building the same scale that I'm using now. So it's 4 times the width of my own pen, and the scale for the ascenders and descenders is 2.5 widths of my own pen, as you can see here. If you need blank calligraphy guidelines, you can follow the link on the description on this video, which will take you to signing up for free to my email newsletters, and then you will receive a PDF file with a comprehensive set of blank calligraphy guidelines and recommended materials for different styles. Okay, what do we do? So to start, I'm gonna use the paper I just mentioned before, and I'm going to attach the paper to my blank guideline, and I have a couple of pages underneath just to have this very nice cushion effect while writing, and I'm going to attach everything all together. In here, you can see that on the camera is not so obvious, and I'm going to zoom in even more a little bit. Yeah, but I still see the lines through. Marker paper is thinner, is 70 GSM, so you will be able to see the lines even more clear. But with this one today, I want to give it a try. So let's go. Now, what I normally do as well is I always share that I use a folded paper. Let's zoom out for a second. Yeah. I use a folded paper. It can be blanco, it can be recycled, and this will help me to protect the page, the final surface of the paper, from my own oil coming out of my own skin. So let's zoom in. Okay, and we are in here. All right, now I'm gonna be marking the X heights so that you see where I'm sitting at the moment. And this paper has a really wonderful texture, so it's gonna be really good to have it. It's very different to the feeling of marker paper, so it depends what you want to get. Depending on the finish you want to acquire, you can use one type of paper or the other. Okay, now the quote for today, it says, "We are strangers in a village of our own making." And I believe this is some citation from James Baldwin. You will find this quote and the author on the description of this video as well. And now I'm going to start with a capital letter, and you can follow me with a broad edge pen, with a pencil, with any other tool you would like. And you can start with a capital letter or you can start with a lowercase letter. It's up to you. It's totally okay. I think the most important exercise in here is that you are 100% present on the page and that you are enjoying the process of learning while writing. So, W, capital W. So I'm going to start at the top and going down. And the other straight stroke. And again. And again. I can see the texture of the paper coming through the nib and the stroke, which is really beautiful. Now what I just did in here is trying to create three counterforms that are optically very similar. Okay, so now lowercase e, let me readjust. We are, let me move it slightly. I can start this A from the bottom or from the middle of the first stroke, but of course this will impact on the look and feel of the letter form. I see there is a lot of ink in here already, but it's okay, I'm gonna keep on going. That's much better, ink-wise. We are strangers. Let's move it slightly. I'm trying to look at the letter forms and have a consistency with the width and the letter spacing. We are strangers in a village. I'm going to change the line now. I'm trying to look at the letter forms, the spacing, the rhythm of the writing. Every pair of letters is completely different, so the space changes a lot. Village. of our. Own. And now I'm going to write the last word here so that it doesn't, I don't create what it's called a widow, which is the last word of a sentence or paragraph just hanging out by itself. So our own making. So let's go. Okay, almost there. Excellent. I'm gonna zoom out now and let's have a look. And I like to do this exercise in two steps. The first step is the writing, where of course there are things that are going to be better the second time I write the quotes. They can improve because I am just finding out for the first time the relationship between each pair of letters as I'm encountering them. So the first goal is simply to study every pair of letters I have and where can I improve next time. So what I like so far is that the DNA of this alphabet, which is set by letters N and O, and also I, is quite consistent. So of course, every N is going to be slightly different, but in general, they are quite similar. If you have never written this style of calligraphy before, you can find an introduction to foundational hand on this playlist. Then the relationship with the O's is also quite good. The ink sometimes, yes, it gets heavier, but this is part of the practice and also part of using a deep pen that you have to get, you have to charge the ink as you are going. So of course there is going to be a slight variations, especially if you are starting out. So this is fine. In here, as I mentioned, I try to create three counterforms that are really similar between each other. The E's, I'm looking at the eye of the E and trying to create a small counterform. Otherwise, it's gonna look really heavy if the eye of the E is too large. And the rhythm between the pair of letters is good. And the length of the sentence, I know know that I can fit it in 2 lines, but I don't know that yet until I have written it for the first time. So there is so many things that can change just by analyzing the length and the X height measurements that I decide to. Of course, if I use a 3 millimeters, I'm gonna go with this scale I explained. But if it's too large, then maybe I need to change the scale and change the pen and use a smaller pen. So we are strangers in a village of our own making. This is the first quote using a modern Carolingian, and you can see how it's very, very similar to our current Roman lowercase letters in the Latin alphabet. If you use any type of font, which you do, because you are constantly texting someone, and doesn't matter the app, you are always texting someone and you are using the exact same structure in your own keyboard. The only difference is that when you type, you're only focused on typing the letters, and the space between the letters is given by the typeface designer, and the space between the words are also already designed by the typeface designer. And in here we have 3 jobs. One is creating the letter forms, 2 is taking care of the space between each pair of letters, and 3, we take care of the space between the words. And of course, if we will go into design a piece, there is many more decisions to be made, such as what's the space between the lines, what's the final size of the writing, what's the layout I want to use, and what's the actual final piece gonna look like. So I hope this is educational and helpful and also relaxing. Just a few minutes to be focused on the page and our writing. So I'll see you again very soon.